I'll call this meeting to order of the Major Crash Review Task Force. We're meeting at 2:45 on Wednesday, December 4th, 2019 at the District Department of Transportation on the 4th floor of 55 M Street Southeast. Looking at the sign-in sheet, we have a quorum. We have at least 4 of the 6 voting member agencies. The meeting minutes from November's meeting were circulated to the group, and I believe everyone's reviewed them. Is there a motion to approve last month's minutes?
So moved.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? No, so last month's meeting minutes are approved. We don't have any new voting members or alternate members to confirm. Does anyone else have any other business before we talk about a closed session? Hearing none, is there a motion to move into the closed session of the meeting?
Motion.
I second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All
Thank you.
opposed? So we can move into a closed session. The reason we're moving into a closed session is because we're about to discuss details of major crashes which contain personally identifiable information and other sensitive material, and reviewing those in public would reveal images that are personal and graphic, and in an open meeting would violate the personal privacy interests of the individuals involved. Oh, I forgot we have to do a roll call vote to go into the closed meeting. So no voting members from MPD are here. For DDOT, Linda or Leon.
Aye.
Okay. Office of Planning, Kristen Calkins.
Aye.
Then the Pedestrian Advisory Council, Amin Beal.
Aye.
No one who's here from the Bicycle Advisory Council, Multimodal Accessibility Council, Helen.
Yeah. Here.
Great. And then that's all we need. Okay, so pause this.
A lot of progress on those. Hope to start writing it this month.
Okay, great.
And I'll put, as I work on it, it'll be on the Dropbox. I think I did send you
Okay.
guys,
Yeah.
the ones I had done as of when we last scheduled a meeting, I sent everybody an email with links to where you can find the write-ups.
All right, great.
So, we'll see.
Okay.
I guess one thing I was thinking, since we meet again in 2 weeks, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
On the 18th, yeah, for our regularly scheduled meeting. And one thing I was thinking was it's the next report will cover sort of cumulatively 2017 and 2018, that's what we decided last time. So if we're running out of 17 and 18 fatals, I'm wondering, rather than doing 19 fatals, whether it would be better to do some of the 17, 18 specials, so we get more cases from
Okay.
17, 18.
Great. Detective, is that okay with you?
Whatever you guys decide, it's fine with me.
Okay. And I'll just send a note around to which crashes we've done now and which we haven't, so everybody has that on the same page for both those years.
I'll probably send a note at the end of, I'm hoping by the end of this week I can get through the rest of the write-ups, and then working on those topics. But, I guess I haven't seen any other clearly emerging new themes. We've seen a couple of, we've got sort of a slightly emerging hit and run theme, but we don't have that quite, we don't have enough of those yet. And then we have sort of medical emergency theme, but I think we've only had one of those.
Mm-hmm.
So that might be something to keep in mind when you look at specials, if there's any that involve those 2 issues. Sort of medical emergency.
It's like
That we know about.
Yeah.
Medical emergency. It may be that there aren't any.
Let's hope not.
I'm just thinking of this one today and the 10th and H, and then the one we had just a few weeks ago. There are left turn crashes that have resulted in probably more. Actually, and the one at First Sterling and South Cat also. earlier this year. So, well, one of those was left turn, one
First
was
turning stuff
unrelated.
happened.
Yeah. So maybe left turn, looking at left turns and where those are happening might be interesting from the transportation side. I mean, I think there are different, in terms of those, all those intersections are pretty different. They might share some characteristics, but the other thing to look at is, thinking about the speed of the turns. I think that's something I'd be interested in thinking about. Like what's the typical speed of turn, and is that part of the what's going into it? And definitely uncontrolled. I shouldn't say uncontrolled. Left turns that are permissive and not protected, meaning you have to look for a gap and then go when you got it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of turning under pressure thing is definitely a factor in one of those that I can think of, but actually the other ones, so maybe two, but the rest of them, I think, were turning on green. So, you know, like the one
They
that we
were
just looked at.
permissive.
Yeah, that one, today we had a left arrow, but the one at 10th and I was just a green ball, and she just turned on green and failed to see the pedestrian mirror.
Right.
So, just thinking a little bit about left turns. Because for turning movement crashes, typically left turns tend to be more likely to be fatal because they're higher speed, mostly, or whatever. There's other things you might have. Do we want to talk about motorcycles? I forgot what we said about that in this report. Or mopeds
I
or
don't remember.
motorcycles. Huh?
I don't know if we had a separate, did we have a separate category for motorcycles last year?
I don't recall one.
I know there was like, where they were at fault, there was an issue with licensing was always an issue and inexperience. I think the one we had this year was different. That was the,
The left turning,
well, I was thinking of the one on H Street where the reporter was hit by the impaired driver.
I remember that one.
Motorcycle?
No, the reporter was the 13 and I. Each street was she was
No,
making
no,
left
not a
turn.
pedestrian, he was on a motorcycle. The US News reporter on the motorcycle.
Oh, yes,
on H
yes,
Street.
yeah.
I don't think I remember that.
That
one.
was, the guy was on PCP, right?
Yeah.
At 13
So he
above
doesn't
age.
fit in the inexperience, it wasn't, the
Yeah,
crash didn't
yeah,
result
yeah.
from his inexperience or his.
Yeah. So this year we've actually had 2 motorcyclists killed in a left turn crash. Well, one moped, whatever.
Okay.
MLK
At MLK Mill
Yes.
at Max, and then we also had the self tap in Perth Sterling. The motorcyclist in that case was making the left and
And then we have Kansas
opposing.
Avenue.
Oh, that's true. But that wasn't a left
It
turn.
wasn't a
That
left
was
turn, it was
a
a
obstructed
motorcycle.
view crossing. I think the motorcyclist is going straight, and the
You're right,
vehicle
obstructed,
pulled out in
yeah,
front of
yeah.
her, you know, with the
Crossing-
in front of
crossing
him with
path.
the obstructed view. Yeah.
So like one
Anyway.
of the things I can do is I do keep a sort of a spreadsheet, so I can add the columns for left turn and
Motorcycles
motorcycle.
or motor. What do you? What do you?
them and mopeds in the same category?
Yeah. What do you call mopeds?
Personal mobility.
Those are.
The little
Those
scooters.
Those should be
Scooters.
scooters.
Yeah.
Scooters,
Yeah.
little
Scooter,
scooters, the
yeah.
stand-up
That's a- yeah,
scooters
that's the
are
different
PMVs.
Yeah, there's
But
motor-driven
mopeds are
bicycle.
like, can go
Moped.
30,
Yeah,
I
up to
think
30,
we
right?
do,
Up to 30.
That's what the
We do-
DMV regs say.
Yeah.
MC and then scooters. Yeah, they're in the same category.
The f-
Motorcycle.
The
Motorcycle.
first fatality we had with a Lime scooter,
Yeah.
MPD checked off pedestrian. Like we DDOT like noted it as this was a dockless scooter, but I think your
Oh,
crash
that
report
was the
just called.
first one.
Yeah.
Because arguably, some of
So
those
we
electric
changed-
bikes go faster than the electric scooters.
If it
Not
goes
arguably,
faster
it's
than
true.
15 miles per
Yeah.
hour, it's something. There's like a motor-driven bicycle and
Yeah,
there's a
it's
motorized
motor-driven
bicycle.
cycle
Yeah,
is like
motor-driven
a
cycle.
moped.
Yeah, you
And
know
it's
all about that.
Yeah, it's a motorized bicycle is like an e-bike.
Right,
If it
yeah.
goes more than 20,
Yeah.
then it's not a motorized bicycle anymore. It's a motor-driven
Scooter.
cycle, and it needs to be plated by DMV, and you need to wear a helmet. It can go up to 30, and then beyond that, it's a motorcycle.
Right, that's what.
There's
Motor-driven
the CCs too.
So we don't have we have bicycle in separate categories, PMD motorcycle and mopeds in the same,
Yeah, that makes sense.
Right.
and buses.
So,
There.
on the
There's
spreadsheet, I have a
motorcycles,
category of
motor-driven
vehicles.
do you have
cycles,
a, do you have categories
motorized
for just
bicycles.
driving?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's mostly like unknown.
Yeah, 'cause I
Yeah.
feel like, I think it's noteworthy that the one time that we have a camera footage of the driver, we have it started, right? I mean, I don't think it means 100%, but, you know, I think it does tell us, like, if we have better information, we probably find there's more distracted driving than there is.
Yeah, but I mean, you can just like just be distracted by conversation in the car and.
That's different.
Yeah. Well, it is, but I mean, it's like, with a lot of the crashes, we just don't know.
Right.
We know, like, you might know there's no cell phone distraction, but you don't know if
You
they're
find
thinking
more
about something.
distracted with minor crashes, because when people on the phone, they tend to
Slow down.
go slow. So when they crash, we don't handle it. It's the district handle it. You know, you don't go 60, 70 miles and, you know,
Hopefully.
even if you're on the
Not
highway
all
and
of
you're
us.
into text, most people slow down to like 40, you know. So that's why you don't see a lot of
Where else can you
yeah.
walk?
But most
I
of the
saw
minor
somebody on
crashes, when
495
they distracted
today.
driving, it's involved in minor crashes. and-
Hey.
Yeah. Rarely
That's
do you see.
sexist.
Unless you
No,
go
That's
it's
for
not.
women only.
when you
No,
go
I'm
in
just
an
saying
open
what I
highway,
saw.
Put your makeup
more
on.
of
Yeah, and then that's electronic, like, you know, if somebody was in their vehicle and they had passengers and they were talking to the passengers, you'd never know that, but that could have easily.
Could be a distraction.
There's a kind of murky area of, you know, or I think one of
A lot of
the,
vehicles.
like,
A lot of
I
vehicles.
read somewhere that one of the leading causes of distraction is people just thinking about something else.
Oh, yeah, that's.
No, thinking you never.
That's not a joke.
You never know.
But there's
That's not a joke.
I mean, there's study about like the way that talking on the phone is distracting in a way that other things are not. You
Eating,
know?
attending
Yeah,
to
I'm
the
not,
child
I'm
in the
not
back
arguing
seat.
I know,
that
but-
it's a,
No, you're,
that
I mean,
texting is the worst kind of distraction, but,
Yeah.
yeah.
driving is so boring most of the time that people don't pay attention to
Yeah.
what they
I'm
should.
just saying, I don't think it can really be ruled out.
Oh, well,
In
yeah.
very many circumstances. I think.
There's lack of attention, certainly lack of attention is playing a part in a lot of these crashes. Like when people say, I didn't see them, or I didn't see that, it's like, well, that's a lack of attention. They're calling it.
Yeah, and a lot of the distraction is hard for us because unless you have a witness saying that person's on the phone.
Right.
I can't write in a warrant and just look at anybody's phone.
Right.
A lot of time,
Giving up help.
it's hard for us to.
Right, the bus is different because you have camera footage, right, but you don't, most of us don't
Yeah,
record our, you
Hella.
know.
But you know, then we have crashes where people is not under the influence and they're not on the phone, they're like, they will sign a consent and say, here you go. And I have multiple cases where they just sign a consent for me to download their phone and look.
Okay.
To see whether they on the call or text.
Right.
And, you know, I have several cases like that, but it wasn't on the phone.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, because we're a city, like, a lot of the actual fatals are happening in very extreme circumstances, because it's like, if you're a normal person and you're driving during kind of normal times, it's congested. And B, it's like, you know, there's just, you do have to pay attention, because it's actually not that boring, there's a bunch of stuff going on. You gotta look around to your fellow drivers who are probably cutting in front of you, so, if nothing else, so, you know, it does feel like there's definitely some extreme circumstances. So, one of the things I was thinking about, because a lot of people tend to look at a crash like, whatever, like the one we were just talking about, the wrong way driver, and they go, oh, that guy was drunk, you know, and I think like, okay, that's not gonna happen to me because I don't do that, or whatever, you know, like,
Talk
so.
about to the Chevy driver.
Yeah, the Chevy
Right.
driver, I mean, that's a classic case, is like following close enough, whatever, that it was hard to avoid, and then frankly, being a vehicle, those things are not built for, you know, like, whatever maneuverability, so, anyway, that's another topic, but still, it's like, one of the things that I would find interesting to look at where we can define, like, quote-unquote, totally average behavior that, you know, resulted in a fatal crash, more like the 10th and H one, where the woman was driving southbound and to the left and, you know, obstruction of the vehicle or whatever, because I feel like that differentiation between like, you know, fleeing with a stolen vehicle situation with a 17-year-old driver is like, I think it would be interesting to at least piece that apart, because I know internally I got a lot of comments on that when we were putting the final report in, concerned about like, oh, are these crazy people, we need to get off the road, and it's just like, a lot of people do crazy things.
Yeah, anybody
So,
could potentially be a crazy person.
you know, or there's also a lot of crashes that happen and nobody did anything crazy, it's just like, you know, maybe we can design things better, and trying to pull those out might be helpful.
I mean, I don't know how many people MPD arrests every day, but when I go, periodically I go and look at the court, filings for criminal traffic offenses, and it's like there'll be 100 events a day.
Hmm.
A lot of
Really,
the
for-
time.
For like what?
So it's usually, DUI is a big one, no permit.
Okay.
A little reckless driving, but not very much. A little bit of ATV, not very much. Or, but it's usually no permit, DUI. Often it's both of those together.
Right.
And, it's like, and so there's a lot of cases being filed, and then it's like the first time it seems like they get put into diversion, so they go through some sort of program.
Uh-huh.
And hopefully they succeed at it. But it's, even on like second and third offenses, there's not a whole lot, and you can correct me, there's a whole lot of jail time. And I don't know that jail time's the right answer to that. All that, it's like we can't like put everybody who ever got a DUI in preventive detention.
Yeah.
We just keep them there.
It would be a capacity issue, number one.
Yeah.
That segues into the new jail task force. Yeah, I agree mostly. Like, I think usually the first time they go to like a MAG class or something like that.
Yeah, it's like
You
a
hope
med
that's their
class and
sobering
maybe
moment.
Uh-huh.
treatment if it's a DUI.
Yeah.
Okay.
Back out there. I know
So-
the penalty increases for like the second.
Yeah, and it's one of the things, it's like, I don't know what you do about this, one of the things that kind of troubles me is that the focus seems to be, and not to say it shouldn't be, but it's entirely on the driving under the influence
Yeah.
aspect as opposed to the addiction to the car,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
equally problematic.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
It's like
And
some-
you don't have any other
Yeah.
options, or your whole life is
Or
structured
they-
around having to be in there.
Or they think they don't, it's like, I don't.
Right. Well, that
I've
also
known
gets
people in
into-
my life who, like, hopelessly alcoholic, but they managed to separate their drinking and their driving. It's like the math program's never gonna do anything for them, but they
Uh-huh.
don't drive.
They don't drive.
Yeah, I would say just not driving is probably the best.
Yeah.
So you're gonna be drunk all the time.
Yeah, Uber and Lyft. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, and, some people can't
I
afford
hope they're
Uber
sober
and
though,
Lyft.
on the road.
That's right.
Some people can't afford Uber and Lyft, but
Yeah,
it's,
yeah.
so a lot of it is better public transit that's like pretty much universal. But that still doesn't help us with people who just like to drive in from Maryland, it's really,
Every
Mm.
street is a highway. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right, guys. Well, this is great. We'll see you all in 2 weeks.
Is there a motion
Oh,
to
sorry.
adjourn the meeting?
Sounds like.
Are you?
But-
Yeah.
We have to leave the
So
closed
moved, so
session
moved.
first?
We already
You
did.
did.
Oh, we did?
Yep.
Yep, yeah, you're being recorded.
Does anyone second the motion?
I'll second. You can
Oh, yeah,
second.
you're here.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Meeting adjourned. Thank you.
Thanks, Patrick.